Dear Mr. Harris, I know how frustrating it must be each time you have to shift under your blanket and push yourself out of bed just to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. What seems like a small interruption is actually something bigger. Your blood pressure inches up, your nervous system stays alert when it should be resting, and your sleep cycle is thrown off track. Over time, these small disruptions add up, quietly increasing your risk of dizziness, nighttime confusion, or even, in some cases, a stroke during deep sleep. Especially once you've crossed, and here's what concerns me the most. More than 70% of older adults across the U.S., from Oregon to South Carolina, might be unknowingly making the situation worse because of habits that feel completely normal. A comforting mug of tea after dinner, a soothing glass of water just before turning in. These feel like calming routines, but what they really do is push your bladder into overtime right when your body should be in full rest and repair mode. But let me ease your worries, Mr. Harris. You don't need to rely on harsh water pills. You don't have to sleep propped up in an awkward half-reclining position like you're on an overnight bus ride through the mountains. And certainly, you shouldn't have to avoid drinking water to the point that your throat feels dry like a summer breeze over Nevada's desert plains. What your body needs is far simpler. 5 small but mighty habits, each backed by researchers from top institutions like Johns Hopkins and the Cleveland Clinic. These aren't fads, they're gentle changes, the kind that allow your body to return to the rhythms it once knew so well. And if you stay with me to the very end of this video, you'll discover that habit 1, when practiced consistently, has been shown to reduce nighttime bathroom visits by up to 40% in just 1 week. Yes, really. If you find the insights helpful, please consider giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with someone you care about. And if you're watching silently, that's okay. Just leave a word like peace in the comments to let me know you're here, and we're walking this journey together. Now, Mr. Frank, before we dive into these 5 habits, I want to explain something vital, something most people never learn. Why is it that your bladder wakes you up in the first place? Many folks assume it's just a part of aging, or that their kidneys have become sluggish over the years. But in truth, your body is doing something quite clever. It's trying to flush out excess fluid that's been quietly building up all day long. That fluid has to go somewhere, especially when you've had a salt-heavy dinner, like rich stews, tangy pickles, or savory sauces. Or when you've spent your day on your feet, gardening, baking, or simply sitting too long without movement. Your legs hold on to fluid, and the moment your body finally rests, it decides, now's the time to drain it. Even the smallest pressure on your bladder in that state can interrupt your sleep once, twice, maybe more. And suddenly it's 4 a.m. and you feel exhausted before the day has even begun. But take heart, Mr. Frank. The beautiful part is that your body is still working hard to heal you. It doesn't need expensive prescriptions or fancy technology. What it truly needs is your partnership, gentle, respectful cooperation, like steeping a cup of herbal tea, with the right timing, the right patience, and the right touch. These 5 habits aren't just sleep aids, they're reminders that you still have influence over your well-being, even now. And when you implement these habits, something remarkable happens. Your nervous system relaxes, your bladder resets, and you start to feel a bit more like your younger self again. That quiet strength, it's still within you. All your body is waiting for is your signal. So let's begin with habit 5. This is one that countless older adults across the U.S., from the coastal towns of Maine to the hills of Arizona, misunderstand completely. Because of that, many lie awake each night frustrated and confused, never realizing what's actually triggering their sleep disruptions. Mr. Rowland, here's a very common belief, that getting up at night is caused by drinking too much water. But let me gently clarify, it's not how much water you drink that's causing you to wake up. It's when you drink it. Picture this, you finish your dinner, a warm bowl of soup, maybe some grilled vegetables and a roll of bread, and afterward you enjoy a cozy ritual. Perhaps a glass of warm milk or herbal tea to help wind down. It's comforting, right? But here's the thing. If you're having that drink after 6 hours in p.m., your body may not have enough time to process the fluids before you lie down. During the day, fluid pools in your lower legs, especially if you've been up and moving or seated for long stretches. The moment you settle into bed, your body shifts gears and that fluid rushes back into your bloodstream. That's when your bladder gets the signal. and your sleep gets interrupted. Experts in urology from the United States have consistently advised that older adults try to drink most of their fluids before 5 p.m. After 6 p.m., slow your intake. By 8 or 9, try to avoid drinks altogether. This isn't a new trend. In fact, elders from earlier generations across the Midwest and southern states used to finish their water well before evening prayer or dinner cleanup, and they slept through the night far more peacefully. A recent study from Johns Hopkins revealed something powerful. Seniors who made no change to how much water they drank, but only adjusted the timing, saw their nighttime urination reduced by up to 40% in just 1 week. No medications, no extreme routines, just a timing shift, and suddenly, deeper sleep returned. If you're someone who enjoys a mug of black tea or hot cocoa in the evening, or a bit of fresh fruit juice before bed, here's a gentle place to begin. Simply notice when you're drinking. Because sometimes it's not the quantity, it's that one innocent sip too late in the day that tips your body into overdrive at night. And while water is just one piece of the puzzle, it's an important one. There are other common nighttime snacks and drinks. Even a small square of chocolate, a tangy orange, or a steaming cup of chai that may be secretly waking up your bladder. We'll explore those in the next section. But for now, if you can shift the timing of your last drink, not the amount, you may already be one step closer to restful, uninterrupted sleep. Mr. Leonard, I'd like to talk with you now about a familiar comfort that may be quietly working against your sleep. Picture this. After a long day, you sit down with your favorite evening ritual. Perhaps a strong cup of tea, brewed with spice and tradition, or maybe a sweet snack passed down from old recipes. It brings back memories, adds warmth to the night. But what if these innocent treats are quietly telling your bladder to stay alert, not rest? Many older Americans enjoy familiar nighttime indulgences. A piece of chocolate after dinner, a citrus fruit, a glass of juice, or that beloved post-meal tea. But here's the surprising truth. Urologists at Cleveland Clinic have confirmed that certain ingredients in these foods and drinks may irritate the bladder lining, causing it to send false signals that it needs to empty, even when it's barely full. That means your bladder could be waking you up simply because it's feeling a little bothered, not because it's actually full. Let's talk specifics. Caffeine, even in tea, is one of the most common irritants. The stronger the brew, the more your bladder is likely to respond. Dark chocolates, sodas, citrus fruits like oranges and lemons, rich tomato sauces, alcohol, even a small glass of wine, and heavily spiced foods like chili or curry can all stimulate the bladder and confuse its rhythm. For someone trying to sleep through the night, that means interruptions you didn't ask for. There's also a hormone most people have never heard of called ADH, antidiuretic hormone. At night, this hormone tells your kidneys to slow down urine production so you can sleep peacefully. But when you consume bladder irritants late in the day, it weakens the effect of this hormone. As a result, your body continues producing urine during the night, as if it's still daytime, and that makes deep, restful sleep much harder to achieve. In 2011, a respected urology journal published a study showing that older adults who removed these bladder irritants from their diets, even just for 2 weeks, saw a meaningful drop in nighttime bathroom visits. Some participants who were waking up 3 times a night began waking only once, or not at all. The change wasn't dramatic, it was simple, and it worked. Dr. Lee often reminds his patients that caffeine doesn't just trigger the bladder, it also disrupts your deep sleep stage. That's why, even after using the restroom, many seniors find it hard to fall back asleep. The body's natural rhythm has been broken. That's why Mayo Clinic experts recommend limiting caffeine after 2 p.m. altogether. That includes coffee, black teas, dark chocolate, and even over-the-counter medications that may contain caffeine. As for alcohol, even 1 glass with dinner can suppress ADH, making your kidneys work harder at night, not to mention increasing the risk of dehydration and fatigue the next morning. And there's another often overlooked culprit: smoking. A large-scale health survey of over 3,000 seniors found that smoking significantly increased the risk of bladder spasms and nocturia. That's the technical term for waking to urinate. So what's the solution? You don't have to give up every pleasure. Just make small swaps. Instead of black tea, try chamomile, naturally caffeine-free and soothing to both the nerves and the bladder. Skip acidic juices in the evening and opt for a slice of poached pear or apple fruits that are gentle on digestion. Replace spicy dinners with milder, broth-based meals, especially if eaten late. Within 7 to 10 days of making these shifts, many older adults report a noticeable difference. Sleep feels deeper, mornings feel brighter, and for the first time in weeks or even months, they wake up without that groggy, unrested feeling. It's a powerful change that begins with something as small as what's on your plate. Still, even if you manage your drinks and avoid the foods that agitate your bladder, there's another piece of the story, one many seniors overlook. The answer lies in your legs, where fluid collects all day long, only to rush upward the moment you lie down. This quiet shift plays a much larger role than most people realize. So in the next habit, I'll share exactly how to manage this gentle flow, so that your legs stop triggering your bladder and start helping you rest. Just a few minutes of the right movement can make all the difference. Mr. Dalton, many older adults like you have taken all the right steps. They manage their water intake, avoid evening caffeine, and still, night after night, the same frustrating pattern continues. They wake up with that all-too-familiar urge, but what they often don't realize is that the culprit may not be what they drank. It may be what their legs quietly held onto all day long. You see, throughout the day, especially after standing while cooking, folding laundry, or simply spending hours seated in one position, maybe reading or watching the news, gravity gently pulls fluids downward into the legs and ankles. You may not notice it. The swelling isn't always visible, but the fluid is there, sitting silently. And the moment you lie down to rest, your body does what it was designed to do. It starts drawing that fluid back into circulation. Once that fluid re-enters the bloodstream, it heads straight to the kidneys. And your bladder? It receives an urgent message. Time to empty. Even though your brain wants to sleep, your bladder has just started its night shift, and that's when the cycle begins. The interrupted rest, the late-night trips, the frustration. But here's the good news, Mr. Dalton. This can be managed. According to Dr. Lee and many urologists in the U.S., just a bit of light, intentional movement in the late afternoon or early evening can prevent this from happening. It doesn't have to be exercise in the traditional sense. No gyms, no fast-paced routines. Just a daily ritual of gentle motion, one that respects your pace and restores your balance. A 2020 health study tracked older adults who added a simple 30-minute walk to their afternoons, whether it was a quiet stroll through the neighborhood, a loop around the garden, or walking while listening to their favorite hymns or audiobooks. Within just 3 weeks, their nighttime urination dropped by over 20. That's not a small improvement. That's the return of peaceful sleep. You don't need to push yourself. Light stretches while waiting for dinner to simmer, a few minutes of slow leg lifts while sitting in your armchair, or gently elevating your legs for a bit while you read in the evening, all of these help redirect fluid before bedtime. One of the most effective techniques, simply lying down for 15 minutes with a soft pillow under your calves before 8 p.m. This gives your body the chance to process that fluid before sleep begins. And just as important as when to move is when not to. Avoid heavy leg workouts or intense squats late at night. These can confuse your body's internal signals and make it harder for your system to recognize when it's time to rest. Think of your evening routine like preparing your home for bedtime, dimming lights, soft music, quiet conversation. Your legs too need that same gentle transition. Ms. Lydia, one of Dr. Lee's patients from Missouri, once told him she used to walk around her backyard every afternoon while feeding the birds. She didn't think much of it. It was just her time to be alone and breathe in the fresh air. But after a few weeks, she noticed something. She no longer woke up twice a night to use the restroom. Her secret, she had unknowingly trained her body to drain excess fluid before bed. That's how natural and powerful this can be. You don't need a fancy treadmill or an instructor. You just need to move in the same loving way you move through your day, with grace and care, because your legs carry you, and when they're supported, your sleep is supported too. Tonight, Consider spending a few minutes walking around your living room or gently swinging your legs while seated on the porch. Or simply lie back with your feet slightly elevated and listen to your favorite soft music. Let your body ease into the rhythm. Let it know that you are paying attention. And when your legs are lighter, when the fluids have already been processed, your bladder will no longer feel the need to wake you. And in that silence, in that stillness, sleep will come, not as a struggle, but as a gift. But there's more. Even with perfect water habits and gentle movement, there's another piece often overlooked, the hidden muscles that quietly protect your bladder every single night. They are small, unseen, and absolutely essential. Mr. Raymond, there's a group of muscles in your body that rarely get attention. They're not visible like your arms or legs. They don't ache like your back or knees. And yet they're quietly responsible for something deeply personal, keeping your bladder steady while you sleep. These are your pelvic floor muscles, and they act like the gatekeepers of your nighttime peace. When you were younger, these muscles were strong without needing any help. They held firm even when you sneezed or shifted in your sleep. But as the years pass, they can become weaker, not in a dramatic way, but gradually, like a light dimming slowly over time. And once they begin to falter, you may notice something, a little leak when you roll over in bed, a sudden pressure just as you're drifting off, or that faint feeling of not being fully in control anymore. Here's what's important to understand, Mr. Raymond. It's not your fault. This change doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It simply means your body, like a faithful companion, is aging with you. And the best news is, these muscles can be retrained. They can be reawakened, much like gently rekindling a fire that has gone quiet, but still glows with warmth. Dr. Lee often recommends a simple practice called Kegel exercises. In short, it means gently squeezing the same muscles you would use to stop the flow of urine midstream, not your thighs, not your belly, just those deep interior muscles. You hold the squeeze for 10 seconds, then let go for 10 seconds. Repeat this 10 times in a row and aim to do it 3 times a day, once in the morning, once after lunch, and once before bed. You don't need a gym. You don't need equipment. You don't even need to tell anyone. Whether you're sipping tea in your kitchen, sitting on your porch, enjoying the breeze, or resting quietly before sleep, you can do these exercises anytime, anywhere. And if done consistently, most people begin to feel a difference within 2 to 3 weeks. Fewer leaks, fewer false alarms, and a growing sense of control. But please be gentle with yourself. Don't hold your breath. Don't strain. These aren't meant to be forced. Think of it like teaching your body to whisper instead of shout. A quiet reminder to hold, to steady, to support. Over time, your muscles will respond, not with loud results, but with steady, quiet progress. Ms. Caroline, a retired school librarian from Ohio, shared something beautiful. She began doing her pelvic floor exercises while listening to her favorite piano music each evening. At first, she felt a little silly, but after 3 weeks, she told Dr. Lee, "I didn't realize how much I missed feeling confident." That confidence, that sense of self-trust, it returned simply because she gave her body a second chance. So tonight, Mr. Raymond, I invite you to try it. Just 1 moment before bed. Sit quietly, take a slow breath, and gently contract those muscles for a few seconds. Feel it, that small act of care, that quiet strength, returning. Because your body hasn't given up on you. It's just been waiting for you to notice. And when you do, sleep becomes more than just rest. It becomes restoration. The kind that comes when mind, body, and spirit begin working together again. But even as we rebuild strength and balance, there's one final habit, the one that ties it all together. And it has to do with timing. Not just of what you drink or eat, but when you take your medications and how you prepare your legs before bed. It may be the quiet key you've been missing. Mr. Wallace, after all we've explored together, water timing, bladder irritants, leg circulation, and muscle control, there's one more habit that completes the picture. It's not complicated, but it carries surprising power. It has to do with when you take your medication, especially water pills or blood pressure medicines, and how you position your legs in the early evening. These small details can decide whether you sleep peacefully or toss and turn through the night. Let me share a story that stayed with me. Mr. Alfred, a soft-spoken man from Nebraska, who attended morning services faithfully, used to wake up 2 or 3 times every single night. His energy was drained. He lost interest in his morning walks. Though he was already on a prescribed diuretic for his heart, he'd gotten into the habit of taking it after dinner, thinking it was better to space things out. But that single choice was costing him his rest. Dr. Lee gently advised him to take the medication before lunch instead. Just that one shift gave his body the full day to process and release the excess fluids. And within a week, Alfred was sleeping straight through the night. No interruptions, no grogginess. It was like flipping a quiet switch back to balance. This change is backed by research from the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, which found that simply moving diuretic intake to earlier in the day reduced nighttime urination by over 50% in adults over. But there's another half to this habit. After a day of standing, walking, or sitting, your legs carry an invisible burden, retained fluid. And the moment you lie flat at bedtime, that fluid flows upward, reaches your kidneys, and starts triggering your bladder. So what's the remedy? It's as soft and simple as this. Lift your legs gently in the early evening, before bed, not after. Between 4:00 and 6:00 p.m., try this. Rest in your favorite recliner or lie down on your couch with a pillow under your legs. Or prop your feet gently up on a footstool while reading the paper. The goal is to give your body time to process the fluid before your head hits the pillow. Even just 15 to 30 minutes of this quiet leg elevation can help reduce nighttime bathroom trips significantly. Ms. Helen, a retired florist from Minnesota, told me she made a ritual out of it. Around 5:30 p.m., she'd sit by her window, with her legs resting up, sipping warm broth, and listening to her favorite radio show. She called it her drain and dream hour. Within 2 weeks, she no longer had to interrupt her sleep for the bathroom. Just peaceful, uninterrupted rest. The kind she hadn't had in years. If your legs tend to swell more than usual, it might be worth discussing compression socks with your doctor. These are medically designed to help your circulation and reduce fluid buildup during the day. In hospitals across the country, these simple tools are used daily to support older adults. Not just for swelling, but to help ease the pressure that leads to nighttime urgency. Many people believe they have to give up water entirely, take sleeping pills, or just suffer through their golden years with broken sleep. But sometimes, it takes only a well-timed pill and a pair of rested legs to change everything. So tonight, Mr. Wallace, you don't need to overhaul your routine. Just begin with one step. Maybe it's shifting your medication time to earlier in the day. Or maybe it's finding a quiet corner to elevate your feet while soft jazz plays in the background. Each small act, though it seems humble, speaks to your body with love. And your body will respond with rest. Because sleep is not something you must fight for. It's something that returns when you clear the path for it. Gently, steadily, faithfully. Mr. Wallace, you've now walked through 5 essential habits with me, each one carefully designed to restore your sleep by calming your bladder and supporting your whole system. Let's gently review them now. First, adjust the timing of your water. Drink most of it before 5. Second, avoid evening irritants like caffeine, citrus, and alcohol. Third, move your legs gently in the afternoon to prevent fluid buildup. Fourth, strengthen your pelvic floor through simple daily exercises. And fifth, take medications earlier and raise your legs before bed to help your body release excess water at the right time. These steps may seem small, but their impact is real. For so many seniors, they've brought back full nights of sleep, not once in a while, but consistently. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which habit will you start with tonight? Leave a comment below, even just a number or a word like hope. And if you found this video valuable, consider subscribing, turning on notifications, and sharing it with someone you care about. You never know, your simple action might be the very reason someone else finally sleeps through the night after months of struggle. Your body isn't betraying you. It's been waiting for your kindness. And when you offer it, even in small doses, peace finds its way back to you, like a soft breeze through an open window. Wishing you a truly restful night, and may you rise tomorrow with a quiet smile, knowing you finally slept through.